Hey guys, hope you're having a good night. So I'm gonna do a check-in. I'm just gonna kind of pull some cards. I've noticed there's like a lot of shifts going on. I talked about this a few days ago, and then like a few weeks ago, Spirit had said there was like some shifts that were kind of taking place the 14th through the 17th of February, which yesterday was the 17th. Definitely seems like a lot of things kind of shifted back from how they were a few months ago. Before all this craziness kind of started the last few months. But it also feels like more clarity and understanding of stuff, and kind of like getting more so like the internal insight of some of the next steps that we need. A lot of people, what they're wanting is going to be opening up soon. So some of you guys are doing like kind of the last minute work, or you're kind of seeing why what you want isn't here. There's a lot of like, they're saying communication and clarity, like little bits of communication and clarity. So pay attention to what your mind is saying, pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to like your feelings, or if you're feeling something that's different than your norm, kind of pay attention to some of that stuff more and see like, what is this trying to tell me? Like, where am I kind of staying stuck in my cycles or my patterns? Why am I feeling uncomfortable? Like, what are these fears trying to show me? Where am I kind of holding myself back? Where am I not freeing myself from like the past? Where am I not standing in my power, choosing myself, things like that? But they're also saying, make sure you're looking at where you actually are growing and changing, how much you have actually changed, how you handle things different, how you make different choices, how you're more aware and you're doing things where you're asking yourself questions and you're doing things that you know are better for you, or you're kind of preparing yourself for what you need, even if you're not ready to do it, talking to yourself in a different way, stuff like that. So I'm going to just pull some cards and kind of see what we get. I feel like, let me pull from this deck first. I don't know, this one's like calling out to me again. Osho Zen Tarot just wants to come out. Morality kind of just popped out. Ooh, I just getting dizzy. I don't know why. I swear to God, there's like shifts that start every time I start doing the readings. Yeah. Okay, on the bottom, we got the Outsider with the Patience card. So with this Patience card, I actually get some of you, they're saying like the mother. So some of you, it's like this, this motherly energy. It feels like different things. So it feels like this mother energy. So some of you guys, it might be healing your mother energy or connecting to the mother energy so you can heal. For some of you, it's looking at your mother figure and healing a lot of inner child stuff related to the mother figure in your life, the feminine, whatever the primary feminine figure was in your life, and kind of seeing that. And some of you guys are going to see where you felt kind of left out, like where the childhood that you had, you felt, some of you definitely abandoned and neglected, but feel like you didn't, your inner child feels like you didn't really get the mothering or nurturing or emotional energy you deserved. So it might not just be like a feminine figure. It could just, be metaphorical, but it's more so like this inner child energy that needed nurturing, needed sensitivity, needed love, needed guidance, needed areas that help them blossom to become who they are. And it feels like either you were ignored, or you were ridiculed, or you were made to feel like you didn't do anything right or not good enough, or criticized, or like you wanted to do something that you enjoyed and your parents or guardians wanted you to do something else that fit kind of what they wanted to do for themselves and stuff like that. That's what this feels like. It feels like a lot of you guys are healing this, either like emotionally, energetically, or through like memories kind of resurfacing, coming up. We got morality, laziness, and silence. So I just want to show you, this card like popped out, the first one. Laziness and silence. Okay, so with the morality card, I keep getting like fear thoughts coming up. I did not mean to flick you guys off if it didn't exactly, but it kind of seems like it. So it seems like the energy I feel with this is like clouded thinking. And when your mind's kind of clouded, it's it's like these fears and these thoughts kind of pop up, and you're seeing how they've been kind of restricting you in your life, where they've been kind of holding you back. Ooh, I kind of want to cry. Like, I don't know why this energy just made me want to cry. And it feels like these things have actually been stuck in the way of your intuition. Like, these things have been blocking you from trusting your intuition and your truth. And it feels like this has been kind of going on for a few months now, where you've had kind of like cloudy mind, not a lot of clarity, a lot of fear thoughts coming up, and a lot of just shadows and repressed feelings and things that you just don't necessarily want to deal with or like to feel. Areas where you kind of were ignoring, areas like where your foundation was kind of cracked. But a lot of you guys are starting to see this, or you will be starting to see how these things are actually getting in the way of you trusting your intuition. Your intuition is accurate, but you're allowing these past patterns, these past fears, these past belief systems to really block you from what you actually want. They just keep saying like, trust your intuition, trust your intuition, trust your intuition. Like, you already know this. And I do want to say this, it's not just about your intuition. Like, intuition is, like if, you're walking or something like that and somebody's coming up behind you and you're unsafe, and you'll just feel the energy in your body and you're like, oh, I know somebody's walking behind me and I'm unsafe. You'll feel that in your body. It's not always like that though. That to me is intuition. Sometimes we call it intuition, but it's really not. Intuition is that. Like, sometimes we get the visions, we get the downloads, we get the connection to source in whatever way, angels, spirit guides, where we're getting the messages, not the fears, not all that shit. They come in very clear and you just know them without logical reasoning. They're not processed, in the mind, where it's just this knowing. It comes in a lot of times as your own voice, or sometimes it comes in like through spirit guides, like with words, or spirits with words and stuff, or through like a vision, like you'll see it, or if you're in a meditation, you'll see it. And it's like, those are like spiritual downloads. Those are messages from your spiritual team, things like that. Those aren't necessarily intuition. But it's like, they're saying you can trust the spirit messages. Like, you already know you can trust them. You already know like it's safe to trust them. And it's like, you might feel inner conflict with this because, your inner child still has healing to do in these areas where these fears are. But you can also acknowledge that my intuition says one thing, and I know that this is true, or I strongly lean toward, my intuitive side or my spiritual messages. But also at the same time, I can acknowledge that I have these fears. These fears, although are not real, they are valid. They are oftentimes based on, experiences I've had in the past, worrying about it repeating, fears of, vulnerability, or, things like that. And it's like, but those are valid too. And that's okay that they conflict with each other, because things conflict, and that's normal as fuck. Like, things aren't always gonna be balanced. Things aren't always gonna be smooth. Like, that's just not the way things are. And sometimes in that energy of resistance is where you're actually healing those, is where you're releasing them, and the trust is actually coming up. So for some of you, that's what's kind of going on there, especially if you're feeling just kind of a lot of inner conflict. You just remind yourself though, things will pass. Like, things will not stay this way. They never do. Things will pass. You will get the clarity you seek at the right time, but they're saying you have to listen to it and stop asking repeatedly over and over and over. If they've already told you the answer, why do you keep asking? Like, why do you keep asking for the same freaking answer that you've already been told? And that's not always easy to like let go of, but yeah. Okay. Oof, I am getting so dizzy when I keep changing cards. Hold on. Yeah or no? I just want to see what this card was, because this card was just like popping out to me. The Present Power card. Travel underneath it. This almost kind of reminds me of like what they were just talking about, and it's almost like you're trying to tame something. you got to acknowledge it. So this is what I try to explain to people. When you have these type of things coming up, your inner child is just a child, is just wanting to be seen and heard. Okay. They're wanting you to remind them they're safe. So think about a child who is scared of something. That's what's going on when your inner child's kind of emotional or acting up or feeling unsafe. It is, you don't need to have the answer to it. Okay. Like a child doesn't always need to understand stuff. They don't always need the answer. They just need you to show up. They need you to support them. They need you to be present. They need you to say, it's okay to feel like this. It's okay I'm feeling nervous. It's okay I'm feeling scared. But look around me. I'm actually okay. Everything's okay. Like, I'm here. I got you. They don't need you to ignore them. Ignoring them makes it work. It makes it more scared. Them more scared because they're already scared. And now they're feeling abandoned. They're feeling ignored. They're feeling unloved. And you're doing that to yourself every time you're ignoring your own feelings and your own thoughts. That's what you're doing. You're literally ignoring your inner child and acting like your inner child's feelings didn't matter, which is basically that unhealed part of your childhood that's still sitting in there. And that's oftentimes like when it's unhealed in certain situations where we emotionally react out of, because it reminds us and triggers something from the past. We got true love, the loving woman, and victim mentality. So what's interesting, I definitely get this masculine, feminine energy with this. With this true love and the loving woman, it feels like the word self-respect just came in. Like the feminine is really working toward loving herself and respecting herself, making choices where she's choosing her, she's choosing abundance, she's choosing her happiness above all else. She's learning to take care of herself and love herself regardless. And this is a process. This doesn't, just happen overnight. But when you're taking steps toward your happiness, when you're actively making conscious decisions toward what's best for you, even when it's hard or even when your fears are kind of screaming at you, like doing that is what actually shifts you and changes those deeper feelings, because you're showing up for yourself where you used to rely on other people to do it or validate it. And it never lasted, even if people did, because it's an internal job. It's something you have to do from within. So even if you're not a feminine, this could also still apply to you about your own feminine energy. But it definitely also feels like for some, this will not be for everybody. There's feminines who are like opening up to a relationship. They're really wanting this romantic connection. They're really wanting the emotional embrace. They're wanting the vulnerability. They're wanting to get into this energy so they can be open to receiving, so they can be in their feminine energy and just open and flowing and just allowing a partner to come in to love and embrace them. I keep getting this word embrace, love and embrace them. This victim mentality, it feels like the masculine energy. It could be, you could be a female and this still could be some of your energy, too. It's not necessarily coming in as the divine masculine feminine. It's more coming in just the internal energies. And it feels like, just sadness, man, just sadness. It's just like this sad energy. And it's just like this impatience, this frustration with the process, just this lack of understanding that is making you feel just stuck. It is like, I don't know how to get out of it. But like what you don't realize is like sometimes it's a timing issue, or sometimes you're stuck in these things because you're working through energy and you're working through things that you might not even understand you're doing, and you'll understand at a later time when you're supposed to. And sometimes it's just working through those repressed emotions. So for whatever masculine is asking this, okay, is like, what do I do? Deal with your emotions and be honest with yourself. It feels like this like, I know what I need to do, but you don't actually know what you need to do. Like almost like you think if you do certain external things, it's going to shift things for you. And it's like you're still thinking from your trauma, and you're still thinking from this like superficial materialistic wound that you have. And it definitely feels like a mother wound for most of the masculine energies. And you're not going internally. You're not going within and facing the depth of your true emotions. You're not dealing with your feelings. It feels like some of you guys are avoiding them. It's like you'll do them, but then like you'll kind of back away for some reason. It's like almost like you get scared to deal with them or something. And it's like this frustration and this fear of running out of time, or somebody's going to leave, or something's going to leave, or you're going to lose something, or like something is going to pass you by, something like that. Trust in the timing, because cat going crazy. There you go. Trust in the timing. Trust in the timing, because you don't need to rush anything. If it's ready for you, you're ready for it. If it's here, then you're ready for it. If it's not here, you're not necessarily ready for it. But it's also like being patient with yourself and working through things and realizing that sometimes things are just really deep and there's a lot of layers to it, and it just takes time. And that's why they're saying, like, think back to the beginning of this reading where they were saying is look at your progress and how much you've changed and how far you've come. Look at how you're doing things different. Even small behaviors actually make huge differences. Look at that. I'm getting, though, for some of you, it's like you're feeling like you're going backwards, or you felt like maybe you took a step back in some way. So if you felt like you stepped back, look at what that made you feel like. Did you stay backwards? Did you, even if you didn't necessarily, but it's just a feeling, did you stay backwards? Did something, perceivedly negative happen? Did anything happen? Did you immediately realize, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this, or this is how I felt, or whatever, and you're like, I'm not doing this again, and you mean it this time, and you're not like you didn't before, but you're sticking to it this time? Did it help you feel different, or see something different, or really, whatever? And that's sometimes why it feels like you're going backwards. But it's not, going backwards isn't always what we think it is. Sometimes there's just another lesson there. There's just another energy or something that we need to process or see different, or see how far we've come, or understand, like, we're never going to be perfect. And this is from a person who only just realized this, like, I've always known I try to be a perfectionist. Over the years, I've tried not to do it so much with work and stuff like that. Things around my house, like all that stuff, I've like consciously made the decision to try not to do things perfect. If I see somebody else doing stuff to not my standard, of perfectionism, all that. But I realized even with myself is like, I had this fear, I have to be perfect, I have to act a certain way and all this shit. And like, it's uncomfortable. Like when you stop doing those things, when you kind of see how you've been subconsciously living, it's like we put all this like pressure on ourselves that's completely unnecessary. Like, even if you look at people in your life, like, I'm sure you guys have had arguments before. I'm sure you've had fights. I'm sure both of you have done shit that hurt somebody else. And it's like, but do you forgive each other? Do you care? Do you love each other? Do you accept each other? Do you stick by each other? You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't, maybe that person isn't right for you, and that's okay. We got Lightworker and the Earth Angel came back out. So interesting, because those two kind of popped before and I just didn't take them out. And we got Reflection underneath it. I definitely get, like, some of you guys are connecting to angels. Like, you're connecting to angels and it's helping you get like clarity or answers. If you're listening, open yourself to listening and hearing, not just, internalizing. If you don't trust it, then ask them for a sign to trust it or something like that. Ask them for a specific message or something specific so you can build your trust. They're willing to work with you. You just got to ask, right? But a lot of you guys that are light workers, you're coming into your energy, you're coming into your purpose. You're seeing how your energy actually shifts other people, how your energy brightens people's lights or helps them face their truths or helps them to feel better or touches them to feel seen, to feel heard, to feel loved, to feel cared about, to feel supported, to whatever it is. Like, and a lot of you guys are starting to get little kind of pieces of the puzzle to your purpose and why you're here. It feels like a good thing. It also feels like all of the kind of fears and things that are kind of hindering that, or some of the subconscious blocks and like conditioning is also slowly coming up as well. And I get, again, there's going to be another shift that kind of takes place. For some of you, it might be tomorrow, which is February 19th. I'm getting, for some of you, there's going to be it might not be for everybody, but I get this shift, like a pretty significant shift for people. I'm not exactly sure. It just feels like a really major shift. And I keep in the word catastrophic shift. So Well, when I think of catastrophic, I think catastrophe, which I think is a bad thing, but it's not always. They're saying it's not literal, it's metaphorical. Okay, because I was like, okay, this sounds really bad. It didn't feel bad, but it sounds bad. For some of you, it's going to be like this internal crumbling. This is not gonna be for everybody. It's gonna, don't even worry about it. If it's for you, it will naturally happen and it's not anything bad. It's gonna be almost like this internal crumbling of all kinds of shit that needs to go away. It's just gonna be like, it's not even like things falling apart. It's almost, it like, the way it looks to me is almost like, what is that? Not an earthquake. Maybe an earthquake? No, that's not the right word. But it just looks like all these rocks deteriorating, like just kind of like crumbling down and just kind of like going away. Like all these, oh, I understand what you guys are saying. Because I'm like, why the fuck are you showing me that? All of these things that are weighing you down and holding you down are going to fucking break down and like fall apart in a good way. Like not fall apart. They're going to crumble. They're going to be dissolved, let go of. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Sometimes when it comes in certain ways, it's not as clear and I have to kind of feel into it to understand and they'll kind of open it up. Okay, that makes more sense. I think sometimes they do that too when I'm doing readings so you guys can feel the energy as I'm feeling it to help you to get the coding you need. Because if you notice, a lot of times they'll just tell me shit and sometimes they'll do that and it's for other people to kind of feel the process, because sometimes they'll give me like a clear message. Like that one, the vision that they gave me, it's just like, it just, I don't even know how to fucking explain it. Like a boulder maybe, I don't know. And it's just like, it's just breaking down and crumbling. But then I'm like, well, that sounds bad. So like, what are you guys talking about? And it's like, but it's not even like falling. It's like dissolving, like it's going away. And it's just like all this heaviness and burdens and things, and it's just dissolving, just going away. So yay, that actually sounds like a good thing. Okay, the last two cards we got are stress and signs. Stress, signs. Some of you guys might be seeing feathers too. They just point out the feathers to me. I'm gonna read you some of the bottoms of the card. They want me to read it for some reason because it feels like somebody's like needing like extra validation to kind of what I just said. Release yourself from things that cause you stress, making changes in your life. Take care of your mind, body, and spirit at this time. No, they don't want me to read that. And then the signs, pay attention to the signs and spiritual guidance you are receiving. Pay attention to your dreams, soul mission, light work or healing. Angels are with you. So that's kind of, I feel like what I just said, some of what I just said. So for whoever needed the extra validation, that was definitely for you. Like they literally just told me that. That was, I could feel your energy. It was definitely for you, okay? And they're like, yes, it was for you. Stop wondering. Yes, it was. I can literally feel you being like, no, it wasn't for me. And they're like, yeah, it was. Y'all are stubborn sometimes, pain in the asses. And I mean that in a loving way. I get this calming of your mind. It feels like going in and out of some of these energies where you're feeling stress and then feeling like a little bit lighter and like more clear. And it feels like kind of coming and going throughout the day. But I also get this other energy of when things are happening, it's like you're allowing them to stress you out. And it's really doing that because you're not actually acknowledging your feelings and your emotions. You're not working through them. So it's almost like this buildup pressure of those things. But it's like, allow yourself to get clarity and understand what you're feeling. Like allow yourself to do that. It's going to help you open up to other things. It's going to help you see something different. I'm going to just pull like real quick again, because I feel like I just need to pull something else. And then, yeah, I don't know why. Yeah or no? Okay, we got divine feminine on the bottom with love. Signs came back out. You want me to take that? Okay. So this is interesting because this is like the true love card and the loving woman. And it's literally the same exact cards if we're going to talk energy wise. They have pretty much the same freaking meaning with the signs right there. This more so from spirit, they don't want me to give a message with this. This is more so validation for somebody who's asking for it about the divine feminine, which is like the Empress energy. the love situation, and here's a sign for you. It's pretty literal for whoever needed that, because somebody's definitely asking about it. Like your spirit, whoever the fuck that is, like your spirit team is coming through this reading for you. Determination and strength. This definitely feels highly masculine, divine masculine. Is like, keep working through your fears, keep working through your emotions. Like you're about to break through of all of this heaviness. Like you're about to break through of patterns and conditionings and stuff. And they're like, we know it's hard, but keep moving forward, because once you're done with this cycle, you're going to be relaxed. You're going to feel different, and you're going to have like this internal strength. You're going to have this like stability within yourself where you can feel relaxed and you can enjoy things. But it's like not the emptiness inside. It's this true enjoyment. It's this true pleasure, this true excitement, this passion, and things that you've kind of been holding yourself back from are going to open up for you, and you're going to start seeing that. But they're like, you got to stop fighting. You got to stop fighting. Like you got to stop. Hold on, let me rephrase that. You have to stop fighting and resisting what you need, and you got to keep moving forward with what you want. It's like you're fighting and resisting the energy and the healing, and then it's like you're like giving up on doing the work that it's taking. So fight for what you want, stop giving up what you want, and try to loosen your resistance to what the fuck you're healing and what you're needing. And they just wanted me to read the strength card at the bottom. It's okay to ask for help. So if you need help, ask for it. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you not strong. It doesn't make you anything. Ask for help if you need it. There's no reason why you can't ask somebody for help, whatever it is. It doesn't, they're saying it doesn't just mean emotional help. If you need help with something, like with some type of situation, you need advice, you need somebody to help you with a task or something, just ask. Just ask. That's for anybody, not just masculines. Just ask. So I hope that this helps, and I hope you guys all have an awesome night.